Hello everyone, this is Magbo Gaming here, and I wanted to make this video. Just recently I said to myself, yeah, I really need to rant on this because I want to put my thoughts on the pricing of the Nintendo Switch 2 here in North America, in the United States of America and Puerto Rico, because we are the US territory.
Rant time!
So what's going on with the price? $450 for the base Switch 2. What? Whoa, that's a little bit more than I thought. I thought it was gonna be 400 bucks. I'm not gonna lie. But then I was looking at a YouTuber's video and I see that apparently Japan is only charging $330 for the Nintendo Switch 2 over there. Is it because of tariffs of Donald Trump, or is it because of inflation that they're increasing the price? I don't know. Let me know in the comments, because I'm still trying to figure this out. Because Nintendo has never lowered the price of their Nintendo Switch 1 ever. Like when the Switch first launched, it launched at $300. How much is the base Switch today? Still $300 brand new. Of course, you know, if you want to go to a pawn shop and get a much cheaper Switch and everything and not the best condition, sometimes it could be better condition than others. But yeah, and sometimes you want to get a Switch Lite for like 60 bucks, and I'm not joking, 60 bucks in a pawn shop. You do have that opportunity sometimes to run into one. $60 to $100 for Switch Lite, a used one. But yet Nintendo's still charging $200 for Switch Lite since 2019, and $350 for the Switch OLED. And now it's $450 for the Switch 2. And you know what? If Nintendo did have a price drop at some point during its 7 to 8 years in the market, trust me, the Switch 2 wouldn't be that expensive right now as it is today. Nintendo is pretty much in a monopoly at this point, because they know that Nintendo fans are always gonna pay full price no matter what. They always justify, because, oh, it's Mario Kart. Mario Kart World is worth $80 now. $80 for the digital copy, and apparently $90 for a physical version? Are you freaking serious? And I heard rumors from people on YouTube that the game is not even gonna be in the cartridge. It's just a little key, so you could actually put in the Switch, and then you could download the entire darn game. Are you freaking serious? If that's true, that's bullcrap. You want to know why? Because, dang, not a lot of people has the storage capacity in order to fully download the game. I am aware that PlayStation 4, even if you put a physical copy, you have to download the whole data, which takes up a lot of space too, just to run the game. I guess that Nintendo Switch 2 is doing something similar to PS4 and PS5. Maybe even worse to scale, who knows? Because the fact of the matter is, imagine if that was true. I don't want to accept it yet. I do not want to accept it yet, but if it's true, let me know in the comments below. Give me the link. I'll verify it. And if it's true, I'm like, wow, Nintendo, you don't really consider that there's still a lot of people out there with very slow internet connection, or maybe even no internet connection at all where they live. So let's just say you buy a game card for $90 of Mario Kart World, right? This game right here, this amazing Mario Kart open world game that just got announced in the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. Crazy. And yet people are saying that the cartridge does not contain the game itself, and it needs to verify online in order for you to legally download the game for you to play with the key. Are you out of your mind? Yes, I wonder how much space Mario Kart World is gonna take. It's probably gonna be quite a lot of gigabytes. I'm just gonna say maybe more than 50 to 100 gigabytes of storage. Dude, and it took me 3 hours to download Metal 4 Fantasio around there when I got out my Steam Deck. And I know and already accept that the Steam Deck is digital only. I'm already accustomed to it because it was sold that way. But you, Nintendo, you want to put that you are still supporting physical games, but yet I am hearing from people that the physical game itself is not completely on the cartridge. So what's gonna say 20 years from now when the Switch 2 is dead, the Switch 1's dead, for example, and apparently now you are locked out of downloading the whole thing if you don't already have it on your Switch. And yeah, oh, we upgraded the gigabytes from 32 gig to 250 something gigs, I believe, is the storage capacity internally. So what? The PlayStation 4 has had a terabyte of storage for almost 10 years at this point. And you're telling me you cannot put a terabyte. I guess if you did, the Switch 2 will probably be like $600 or so. Yes, that could be a possibility. But Nintendo is actually being anti-consumer. Let me also tell you another thing too. That their tutorial tech demo, I forgot what it was called, but this is the name, which is supposed to be something that should have been built in for the Switch 2, just like 1-2 Switch should have been for the Switch 1. But Astrobot was a tech demo and built in for free on a PS5. At least Sony had some decency there. But Nintendo, what are you doing? How much you're gonna charge for these? You didn't tell us the price. You didn't even tell us the price during the presentation. We had to find out like after the presentation when you put it on your website. Oh, it's gonna be worth $450 for just the base Switch with nothing on it. No games whatsoever, no tech demo, nothing at all, no games. They want to charge up the butt for the Switch 2. And I'm sorry, I want the Switch 2. I am excited of all the things that are coming up. I'm loving Mario Kart World. I'm loving Donkey Kong Bonanza. And there's a few other games that are pretty interesting as well, but those are the two main ones. And I am not even going to even bother getting it at launch, obviously. I'm not going to get this at launch. You're crazy if you think I'm going to get it at launch at full price. No. Because I know better than that. I know that there's going to be opportunities for me to get it a lot cheaper. I'm not stupid, man. I'm not stupid, Nintendo. Seriously. So, you know, what do I think about the price gouging? I heard that it has nothing to do with the tariffs, too. So, imagine if Donald Trump's tariffs gets activated and then, like, in order for them to sell Switch 2s in Puerto Rico, for example, since we are U.S. territory, what if we have to pay even more than $450? What if we have to pay like $500 for the base model or $550 at the best case scenario, I guess you could say? Yeah, no, I'm like, I am not supporting you, Nintendo, if you do this. I am a big fan of Nintendo. I bought the Switch 1 at launch. Yes, I bought it at launch, but that's because it was a much better time for me. I had a job at the time that was paying very good money, and it was only $300 for the base model. I had no problem buying the Switch at launch. And to be honest, I kind of felt like I didn't need to buy it at launch because other than Breath of the Wild, there was no other, and I guess Super Bomberman R I wanted to play. There was nothing that great about it when it would launch. There was not a lot of games on the Switch for the launch because Wii U sucked. Wii U was not doing well. They lost a lot of third-party support. But what's going on now? I'm not in the same situation as I used to be. A lot of people are not in the same situation they used to be. Cost of living is freaking high. Rent is sky high price. I talk about it a lot on my Nexi Life channel, so if you want to check out my Nexi Life, I'm going to get back to that channel soon, but it's a new channel that I made that I talk about economics, romantic, and life, you know, stuff that matters in this world that, you know, that I know is the truth, and I need to let people know and be aware of what's going on. But talking about Nintendo Switch 2 here, I love the Switch 2. It was a great direct. I enjoyed it. There was a lot of great stuff coming for it. But honestly, the price, I cannot support it. I said to myself a while back that unless a console is at least between $300 to $400 max, I will never buy a console over $400 in my life. The most I ever spent on a console in my entire life was $300 for a PlayStation 4 and a Nintendo Switch. After that, I guess you could say I paid $400 something on a Steam Deck, but it's a freaking PC. It's also a computer as well. It kind of justifies a little bit more, while PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch are just game consoles for you to play games on. And I guess you could stream YouTube, Netflix, Crunchyroll, all that stuff. But you get the idea, man. Like, I just can't justify these prices, so I'm not gonna get the Switch 2 at launch. I'm sorry, no. Like hell no. I'm not paying $500 for a digital version of Mario Kart World. I'd rather pay the $80 for a physical release, or just wait 2 years and I see one La Familia in the pawn shop for $40. And that could happen. And don't say it's not gonna happen. It could happen, because just 2 to 3 years ago, I found countless copies of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe in a pawn shop for $20 freaking dollars. That's crazy, right? Yeah, if you don't believe me, yeah. If you have La Familia near you in the States, or you're in Puerto Rico, you know that, Switch games are typically so much cheaper than over there. But yeah, anyways, I got to get going right now. What you guys think of the Switch 2 prices, let me know in the comment section below. Give it a like if you agree to this video. What do you think of the prices? It's pretty insane. It's not as bad as PS5 Pro, because PS5 Pro is freaking $700 with no disc drive. You have to buy it separately, and sometimes it's hard to find, and scalpers are selling for like $160 to $200. I'm like, no thank you. $900 for a console? Hell no. Just like the PS5 that I do not want to support because they're still at $500 freaking dollars. I will not support the Switch 2 at $450 or $500. Definitely, there are games I want to play on it, but I have a big backlog of games, enough for me to entertain myself for another 2, 3 or more years. Especially with the RPG collection that I haven't played yet. So I'm not really in any rush to get a Switch 2. I may get it by the end of the year if I'm able to get some sort of deal, or if I trade in like a bunch of games in my collection that I no longer want to play, and then I could discount it to get Switch 2 that way. I don't know. But that's probably the only way. Or if the cryptocurrency market goes parabolic and goes super high, and okay, maybe I'll justify being able to afford a Switch 2 the way it is. That's the only 2 ways I'm gonna buy it this year. The only 2 ways. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Magbo out. I hope that you find the games you're looking for. Are you gonna get the Nintendo Switch 2 at launch, or are you gonna wait until prices calms down? Because from one person said, this whole price gouging thing could be illegal. I don't know if that's true, but let me know in the comments. Anyways, I'll have to see you later, and Magbo out. Take care. Bye bye. Thank you for watching this video. Check these videos too that are related to what you just watched. I'm sure you will find some enjoyment there. You can also follow me on Instagram and support the channel via Patreon or buy my Magbo merch. Links below. Hope to see you again soon.